What just happened? I'm Dan. That is Jules. That is Xander. And today we're here to talk Silo Season 2, Episode 4, called The Harmonium. Best episode of the season, everybody agree?
By far.
Yeah, definitely by far. Leaps and bounds. Shit went down this episode, and let's just say it, rip that Band-Aid off. R.I.P. Meadows. That was crazy. That's going to start a whole bunch of shit. Throughout the episode I did, but like, if you were to tell me...
No, I mean... I didn't think he was ever gonna let her leave.
Yeah,
No.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point.
As soon as she has to
didn't-
go out, I was like, you're dead.
Yeah.
Writing on the wall. By the end of this episode, tempers are flaring. People are about to start throwing down. So it's going to be exciting. So starts off with Solo educating Jules about the circus and elephants. And he's a bundle of joy, that guy. He's like a kid. He's got a demeanor of a child.
Oh, another thing about the circus, they had animals. They had these huge things called elephants.
Yeah, I kind of realized he's playing the exact same character that he played in the Planet of the Apes movies.
Steve Zahn?
Yeah.
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 I didn't notice it was him till last week when Bill pointed it out. I'm like, God damn it is him.
I was just gonna say, I mean, you got to think about it. If what Jules alluded to, you know, he was around 13 when his rebellion happened.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense that he would be emotionally stunted to that age.
Yeah. He's like
You know what I
stunted.
mean? Like that's serious trauma.
He's stunted, but he's done a ton of reading. So he has all this knowledge that he just wants to word vomit and tell everyone or tell
But
Jules.
I'm not so sure that it's not a distraction. It just feels too innocent.
Oh,
if that makes
okay.
sense.
So I'm getting the vibe you don't
It
trust
just, he feels
Solo.
like I don't. He feels like he's hiding something.
All right, Xander, what do you think about that?
I think he's a good dude. I think he's just nervous about the vault because I think the reason he knows everything he knows is the vault is full of all the info. The same reason Meadows knew at the end of the episode what she knew when she's talking to Lucas. Is that his name?
Lucas, yeah, Lucas, yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe I got that. Yeah, I think
Nice.
the hub of information of everything that's left over is in the vault. So I think that's why he feels kind of weird, like weird energy, but I think it's because he's protecting.
And it very well could be that. Because again, if he's kind of hovering at that mental age, kids that age, it's like, oh, I was entrusted with this really important responsibility, so I'm going to take it seriously. I'm going to make sure that I don't screw it up.
Exactly.
So like that does kind of make sense.
That tracks. So yeah, childlike nature to him. Great job by Steve Zahn in this role. He's doing a really good job. He was talking about, how elephants helped species that are in trouble. And she's like, well, I'm a species and I'm in trouble. We got to focus on me. So we need to figure out how I'm going to breathe underwater. And then he starts talking about the ocean, compares her to Captain Nemo, the captain of the Nautilus. And he goes, you can use the harmonium, the musical instrument. And we'll come back to that in a little bit. Turns out to be true. You can use that. And it does work. And it's a very good idea from Solo. So over to Knox and Shirley, they're looking at the names on the wall that they alluded to last week. And he has the idea that he thinks it's the names of people from previous rebellions. All the rebellions are all blamed on Mechanical. Why?
Because we can shut this fucker down.
That's right.
That's true. So what do we want? We want revenge. And then Shirley goes, but we also want the truth, right? So he's like, yeah.
As far as everyone's concerned, Judge Meadows is the boss.
Okay.
Okay?
I'll send her the message.
So we're going to go talk to Judge Meadows and we're going to exhaust all options before we start shit. But the shit gets started for them. So that's
that's the crazy thing about this silo is that it takes you so fucking long to get up to judicial.
Yeah, it's a
That
hike.
they had
Yeah.
all this time to plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right? Yeah. All the shit that went down on the
Think about how
upper
much
level.
plans can change by the time you get to where you're going.
And what's crazy is, I guess it's like a metaphor for classism in the real world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you really feel it in this show. It's like
do.
the people that live down there are not respected at all, but they're really important to the survival of the silo. So it's like, where do you get off thinking you're better than the people that keep the lights on? I don't understand, but it's like people are like that in the real world. So yeah, it makes sense. So Sims is worried, and Bernard's like, they're just going to air their grievances. And he's like, well, I hope Lucas isn't set free. He knows a lot. And then Sims alludes that he knows he's been talking to Meadows. And he's like, nah, just an observation, bro. And then Bernard goes to talk to Meadows and says this sends a bad message. So kind of reverse what she said to him. And you have a right to refuse meeting with him. He's dangerous. And she's like, whoa, now I really want to meet him. So if you were that serious, you'd have my suit by now, Bernard. Get my suit and then we can talk. So, like what you guys said, it should have clicked in my brain earlier that once she asked for that, he was done with her at that point.
She's had to ask him multiple times.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, it's getting made. It's getting made. Like, just buying time. He's just full of shit. You love to hate Bernard in this show. He's good at it, though.
Yeah.
He is good at it.
It
So
annoys me slightly that she didn't see it coming just because she knows the pact so well, and whatever book he's reading that he's pulling all these like ideas of what to do from, like blaming it on mechanical and all that. I feel like she knows that so well
she
that
she should have seen that.
Should have picked it up. She's like a pretty smart character, and it sucks because she was really growing on me in these past few episodes. I was like, oh, she's
I agree.
Yeah.
But I think I think that has to do with people talking about how she like kind of fell off. You know, she's really smart, but now she kind of just drinks all the time.
Yeah.
And she's just kind of an empty robe, I think is what they said.
Yeah.
I can kind of understand why she wouldn't, because she just kind of let her guard down around him.
Yeah,
like,
that's
she trusted
true.
him.
Yeah.
She was hoping for her escape. Didn't get it. Oh, it sucks. So then Solo and Jules, they're talking about, you know, the special days that people celebrate in their specific silos. You know, did you have one? Yeah, we had Freedom Day. Oh, what was that for? Freedom. So,
What did that celebrate?
Freedom, Solo.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
that's what it was for. And then he's sad about a girl. What'd you guys get from this scene? So the timing didn't work out that Jules said. She would have been 11. Like, how would you have been in her class? What was that about?
That's what I was mentioning earlier.
Yeah.
Because you know what I mean? Like he's...
Oh, right. That's where you're okay.
If that's when his rebellion took place.
Yeah, because then he kind of brushed it off. It was like, oh, well, I wasn't saying this belonged to her. He was just kind of like,
I think he maybe... I think maybe he's trying to hide the fact that there have been multiple rebellions.
I'm pretty sure it's going to have something to do with him causing the death of the rest of this silo. Like all those people went out and they all died. And I think he was in the vault and was pretty much handed the job of like, if something happens, you have to open that door and leave it open so, you know, the air can do its job kind of thing. It feels like he knows he's responsible for something and he can't quite come to terms with it.
Okay.
You just made total sense in my brain just now, because she questioned earlier about the bodies in the hall being fresher than the ones that are outside.
Yeah.
So you're on to something. Yeah, I totally agree with you now. Yeah, that's true. All right. Makes sense to me now. So he's like, hey, I want to show you something. It's the musical instrument, so we'll come back to that in a second. Knox has his people gathered. They're about to go up. And then Sims and his wife talk about impeaching Meadows, which happens. They get the word going that they want Meadows impeached, which leads to her death, which would have happened anyway, that you guys can convince me about while we've been talking. It would have happened anyway, but they kind of sped the process along. So Solo is playing music for Jules, right? He needs her to listen. No. Actually, you need to look at my feet. You see that down there?
You can use this to push air down a tube.
That thing is pumping air up. What if that could pump air down to you when you're underwater? And she's like, that's actually not a bad idea, but I'd have to take it apart.
What? Yeah, but you could put it back together again, right?
I don't know, maybe.
And he's all sad. Why don't you play one more song? Get it out of your system. So, yeah, he's sad. Sad Solo. But yeah, that's what they're going to do. And then Meadows is talking with Lucas. What did you guys get from this scene? Because he's not getting anything with them talking, right? He's not denying what he did. And then he's like, why'd you even grant this request? And then she sends the guards outside. And then I wanted to know about the lights. But she knew about the lights because she explained to him that they were stars. But what he said, his guesses were spot on. How, the earth is round. Sorry, flat earthers out there. The earth is round. And he had all these guesses that were right. How we revolve around the sun. And then she's like, yeah, but it's this, and that. So what was that? What was the point of that? Just to see if he was onto something?
I kind of feel like she was trying to confirm that information for him without just straight up saying it.
Xander,
so she was kind of just like fishing to see if he knew first before she confirmed it, but I don't know why.
She wanted to see how dangerous he was to the silo. So she's trying to figure out how smart he is and like what he can deduce from like small bits of information. So she's poking him to be like, how much can you figure out? And that's why she goes to
Yeah.
Bernard later and she's like, you're right. He was dangerous.
He was dangerous.
Right.
I think at the same time, she feels pretty bad for what's happening to him because she knows that it wasn't really his fault. So it's like her way of almost apologizing is like giving him that bit of information, being like, you're right. Here's some specifics. Okay, now go die because you're too dangerous.
Damn, that's cold, man.
Yeah.
Damn. All right. Yeah.
I mean, that tracks.
makes sense.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, it does. I think you're spot on. Yeah. Because I was like, what was the point of this? Why torture this guy? She does cut 5 years off of his sentence, of a 10-year sentence, but then she alludes later he's not going to make it a year anyway. So what's the difference? So, okay. Yeah, spot on, Xander. Good shit. So Walker and Carol are talking, and Carol asks, why are you out all of a sudden when you spent 25 years as a shut-in and now you're out? And she's like, you know what? It's because I feel like I was missing out, and I was trying to think of a reason why I never came out before, and I couldn't think of anything worth a damn. So that's just sad. She just wasted life. It's just a sad scene. I hope she gets some redemption. What do you got?
It speaks to like a lot of people's trauma where you just get so far from it that you think back and you're like, why do I still act this way? And I think it just becomes so normalized, especially when you're like stuck inside kind of thing. It becomes so normalized you don't think about it until you're in a different situation. You're like, damn, that really made no fucking sense that I stayed in there for that long.
Damn, dude.
It's sad. I like her a lot as a character though, man.
Philosopher Xander, you're on point, man. Yeah, that's spot on. Yeah, I like her a lot too. I do hope she gets some win in some way, shape, or form. I don't know how, but I hope she gets something positive happen to her. Maybe she meets up with Jules again, or something good. I want something good to happen to her character. It would be very tragic if she dies not really making a difference.
I think she seems like a sacrificial character to me.
She does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which will be sad, but earned. So I'll feel good about it.
All right.
I feel like someone's going to come after them for the whole Meadows thing, and she's going to like sacrifice herself to save them.
That would hurt.
Maybe not, though. That might be too soon.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe.
I think she'll be the ultimate sacrifice to get Jules back in the silo. That's
okay.
That would make more sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. And then Knox and Shirley are talking about, hey, if they agreed to our proposal here and they actually let us go out, would you go out? And Shirley's like, hell yeah, I would go out in a heartbeat. And Knox is like, so would I. I want to see the distance and I want to see Jules. It kills me not knowing if she's dead or alive. So yeah, I would definitely go out. So that's all they want to do. They want better suits. They want to go and explore and come back. That's it. But it would break the pact. So they're not going to let it happen. But that's a reasonable thing of what they want. It's kind of stupid that these people are such dickheads about it. But
I think it's like, if I'm looking at it from Bernard's side, it's like pulling a thread on a sweater, right? Like once you let people out to explore things, you've opened that door and you cannot close that door. So I think like he really sees it as keeping the silo safe. And I think like he's right in a sense where if you start letting people out, there will be a point where people are like, well, I'm going out. And then you end up with like an open door and a whole dead silo.
Like if they can do it, why can't we do it?
Yeah.
So it makes sense from both sides.
Fair enough. And then a deputy comes and is like, hey, you guys are going to need me to escort you. There's people up here that fucking hate your guts. So this is going to be tough. So yeah, they do deal with that later. And then Paul is looking into the murder of Cooper and he asks Hank, the deputy, if he still has his body. He's like, yeah, we should. So let's go. So they go and we see that scene later. And then Jules is testing the pump and Solo's like, I got to get back to the vault. I don't think I locked it. Like, I got to go check that shit.
Are you just saying that?
Wait. What are you doing? You locked the vault, okay?
Yeah, I locked it.
It's locked. Cool. So they come back to that test, the true test of, not the test. She goes and gets the fire suit. So we'll talk about that in a second. So Meadows asks if it was Bernard who started the impeachment shit.
Absolutely not.
I'm to believe that an effort to impeach me just arose spontaneously.
But people are afraid. All they want is to build better suits and send people out. I wasn't going to even agree. I was going to say we'll get a committee and do some, just some bullshit to keep them happy. It wasn't going to happen. All right, cool. Come to my apartment later. I got the suit for you. I want you to try it on. And then what Xander said, she's like, you're right, Lucas is dangerous. Then why'd you cut his sentence half? I wanted to be seen as fair, but like I said, she doesn't think he's going to make it a year anyway. Yeah. The type of guy he is. So it doesn't matter. So then Coop's body is gone Judicial took him. The coroner describes the missing one, which is Patrick.
Oh, Judicial has him for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's drugged up and begged somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was their deal. That was their deal. Yeah.
Yeah, but you thought they were going to let him get his, get his end of the deal? No, of course not.
I think that might have been part of the plan. I think that's why they got that dude and they made such a big deal about him being the best shot. It's like, what are the odds he missed a kill shot if they make him up to be like, oh, man, you were like the best shooter ever. Yeah, it could have been like, all right, man, we're going to shoot you right here. It's going to hurt a lot. And then you're going to, disappear and become a new person kind of thing. And Coop was just, collateral.
He's definitely collateral, yeah. Which really pissed off Shirley. So, all right, it's test time. She's underwater and it's working. So good job, Solo, coming up with this idea. But then she tosses it, which I was like, what are you tossing that for? You need to breathe. And I'm like, something's going to go wrong. And then she tries to go to the surface and the weight's holding her down. She reaches for the top, can't quite get up there. Something falls off. She cuts herself free, gets to the other side. And it's so funny, in my opinion, when she's up and safe, you still see Solo just pounding away at the pump. He's like, am I doing a good job? Am I doing a good job? So, yeah.
I gotta say, this scene is the only scene so far this season that I was, like, annoyed. So I'm like,
you were.
Pretty much gave me the entire pilot, like, first episode is like, oh, remember how smart and resourceful Jules is? Except for this one moment where the rope is too short. And then we get to this episode and it's like, look how smart and resourceful she is, except for this one moment where the rope is too short.
Rope is too short.
What the fuck?
Like, God.
All right. Is she smart or does she just not understand lengths of rope? I don't get it.
She has problems with lengths of rope.
Yeah, it's like how I can never judge like what size Tupperware container I need for my leftovers. It just doesn't work for me ever.
Yeah. It's exactly the same. So yeah, Solo's still pumping away. And she gets the firefighter suit successfully. And he's like, all right, I got to go back to the vault. Fuck this shit. I got to go check.
No, wait. Now! Hey. I got to go back to the vault. Wait, no, I'm in charge. I'm responsible.
So he runs. It's locked. He tries the password and it's not working. And at first, remember in episode 1 what we did? We wondered if someone else was in there and someone cut that rope when Juliet fell the first time. And we had like someone that said they were in the Marines or something in the comment section saying that rope would have never broke on its own. He seemed to be knowing what he was talking about. So maybe there is someone in there, but that's not what they did this time. He just forgot the password, I guess, and then he remembers it, gets back in. He doesn't want to talk to Jules right now. He's all upset. He's in his feelings. So they make up. So Meadows wants to try on the suit, and they're sitting down for dinner, and it turns out he poisoned the mushrooms, and she is dying. She has minutes to live. He says her death will unite the silo, and I had no choice. It's what I had to do. She wants to see the outside one more time. He's like, nah, not gonna happen, but I got something for you. Breaks out a VR headset and blows her mind. You see her reaction to that? Like, oh my gosh.
Just wrecked on mushrooms with a VR headset on. It's like, whoa, dude.
That had to be pretty sick, though.
Oh, yeah. That'd be wild.
Yeah, at least she got to do something cool in her dying minutes.
It was so cool, too, how Bernard, you can tell he's used it so many times that he's like, look up here.
He knows,
Look down here.
This is here. Like, this is there.
He's spent hours in that thing. Yeah.
Countless hours. Yeah.
Put your head up a little bit to the left. See? And the old fella lounging on the vine.
Yeah, he knew every nook and cranny. He was like, oh, there, and like spotting exactly where the birds are and shit. Yeah. So then he takes it off and they talk about the drive, right? And he's like, well, look, I destroyed it, but if you know something that's valuable that's on it, you got to tell me. This is what I want you guys to theorize about. So she says something to do with Salvador Quinn. Now I looked into it. He was apparently the head of IT 140 years ago when the first rebellion happened. Go crazy. What's up with Salvador Quinn? Is that something that's going to come back into play later? Why would they say that line in her dying moments? I feel like it matters. Am I stupid or do you think it matters?
No, it definitely matters.
Yeah, I think she figured out something that, well, like, obviously it's something that led her to quitting, like being Bernard's shadow. But I think it's something that Bernard doesn't even know.
Yeah, he
like
doesn't. He wanted to know.
Yeah. She went like so deep that it's like, maybe the cause of why they are in the silo or who built the silo, what happens to the silos over time, something weird that's like cooked into the system itself that is just beyond fucked up kind of thing.
Yeah. And She did say a line. What do you think about this line, Jules? When she was like, "How did they let this happen?" Meaning humanity. How did humanity let this happen? What was she? So do you think she knows more, or she was just like dying and trying to grab for strings in that moment? Why would she say that line?
Wait, this was after the VR thing, right?
Right after. Yeah, right after.
Well, I mean, you look at fucking VR of, all these monkeys and birds and shit.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I'm trapped in a silo underground.
Yeah, how the fuck did this? Yeah, true. Okay.
How the hell did we get here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it puts the question back in the viewer's mind too, because I kind of stopped thinking about that because I'm so wrapped up in the show that I kind of stopped thinking of like, wait, why the fuck are they in a silo? So it's nice to have that put back in my brain, like, oh yeah, like nukes or global warming or like some kind of
I feel like I'm just trying to figure out what the hell they're hiding.
Right. Do you think we ever get that answer of what caused? Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
You know what?
I feel
Someone
like
pointed
that's
out
like the big overarching.
So, but there's 50 silos, 50 states, 50 silos. So, do you think there's other silos in other states, or this is all of humanity that's left? Everybody in those silos.
I think it's middle America. I don't think they're spread out that much because we see like how many silos did we see?
A bunch.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. And she found another one pretty quickly.
Yeah. I went back and rewatched our season finale video of last season, and in the wide shot, you can see about 7 of them, pretty close together. So it's probably all pretty.
It makes sense
close
that
by.
Probably a corporation or some super rich dude bought a huge plot of land and just chunked all these silos into like one area.
Well, especially if they're all interconnected. That would just make sense to have them all.
I love that theory, and I hope it's true. Dander, are you with the underground tunnels theory?
Oh, definitely. I think the flood is probably moving. So like the reason this silo was flooded is like they're all connected through those tunnels, and there's water that slowly filled one, and then it's sinking into the other ones and slowly filling them up. I think that'll probably be like later season tension of like, oh, all the silos are gonna fill with water. What the fuck do we do?
Shit.
Yeah.
And then he just got Solo pumping it all out by himself.
Just by foot.
Yeah.
Am I doing a good job?
So speaking of him, Jules is trying to get to him like, hey, I thought we were past this, dude. Come on, man. You're my partner. And then she talks about when she got sent out, she figured she was about to die, so she knows what it's like to be scared. So she's trying to connect with him. And then she's like, you know what? Captain Nemo would like to know more about the circus. And what were those things called? Elephants. She was just trying to get him to come out and start talking again because he seemed to be loving that when he was telling her that type of thing. And it works. He comes back out.
They're called elephants.
Yeah.
They're cool again. So Bernard then says, as Meadows' dead body she's done, and he says, do what I instructed you to do. So he pulls out a knife, and then he's going to stab her in the chest and, frame them for it.
Do you think, is that Coop's knife?
Good question.
I was thinking that might be why they took Cooper's body, is because he had like a knife on him.
Yeah,
it's a knife from like Down Deep or whatever.
It's definitely one of theirs.
That it's a knife. They're using a knife for mechanical to frame mechanical.
Yeah, 100% true. All right, and Paul makes a call to try and find out more information about this missing body, and he's asking about Danny and Patrick. And then that's when they figure out he was shot in the shoulder, so Patrick's probably not dead. So what did you get from this, Ander?
Oh, I think that the sheriffs are slowly realizing that there's something going on, and they're all being played, which is kind of, I don't know if there's ever been a rebellion. If they're always blamed on Mechanical, there probably hasn't been a rebellion where all the sheriffs are like on the side of Mechanical. So it makes for interesting times.
Yeah.
We actually, the three of us agreed that Hank in particular would turn and join the Mechanical side.
Billings for sure.
100%.
Billings will for sure.
Got that book,
Yeah, he's
I wonder how long it
to.
takes him to show Hank that book.
Oh, probably not long. Probably not long.
That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to see that.
And Billings isn't going to believe this bullshit about Meadows being killed by a Mechanical.
No.
He's not going to fall
Of
for
course
that
not.
one bit.
No.
So, yeah, he's going to
He's
start.
already suspicious of Bernard and Sims.
And who's the only other person that would kill Meadows? Bernard.
Yeah.
Or Judicial.
Bernard.
So, yeah.
Pretty easy to solve that case. So, yeah, that's true. And then Knox and crew are making their way up. People are pissed. And then one man in particular steps up and threatens them. And then Carol throws the red ball down, which tells them to shut the power off. So they shut the power off.
Plan.
Was a good plan. So it worked for a moment. And then Bernard's like, you know what? She's not feeling well, but I can make some time if you turn the power back on. So then she throws another ball. I believe it was blue, which meant to turn it back on. So they do. Bernard says, just you two, Shirley and Knox. And then they come in and they show her dead, stabbed through the chest. And they know it in this moment. You fucking framed us, you motherfuckers.
They set us up.
He's like, well, I'm not going to chase you. Go ahead. So they're like, all right. Let's walk. We'll run eventually.
Again,
right now,
good
walk.
plan. Don't alert them right away.
Yeah. Which, like, if you're a bystander and you see them peacefully walk out, some people could see through the bullshit if they really tried hard enough to look at it, you know?
Yep.
So we'll see.
It sounded like Sims rehearsed that monologue quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Great monologue, though. Common's fucking awesome.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Bernard says to Sims, my hand was forced. I know you were behind the impeachment, but look, this is going to work out. Here comes Sims. He's like, you better go. They better not get too far away. Go ahead and go do your shit. Do your job. So he says, many of you didn't like Meadows meeting with Down Deepers. Her words, every citizen deserves a hearing, but she miscalculated. Those animals just killed her. They wanted to open the airlock. She wouldn't let them, so they killed her.
She gave her life for the silo.
It's our duty and your duty, all of us, to find those murderers and bring them to justice. And then we see Knox and gang running as a literal mob is chasing them. So what the fuck next? I wrote fuck at the end. What next? Like, are they going to just hide? Are they going to turn the power off?
I mean,
think just turning
the power off would certainly be to their advantage.
They shouldn't have had an extra red ball. Like as they're
turn it off again.
As they're running away, drop that and keep running.
Emergency red ball.
Yeah, should have had two of those. Yeah, I mean that sucks, man. They got framed.
It probably leads to. I don't think they'll get caught. I think the mob will make their way all the way down to Mechanical, and they'll take it out on someone else. And it'll be like Mechanical versus the people up top kind of thing. I think they'll probably make it down to those tunnels where all the names are written. Because most people don't know that even exists.
Oh.
Yeah, so it'll kind of pit Mechanical against the rest of the silo, which is exactly what they want.
That's what they want.
100%.
Yeah.
But then Juliet will come back, and everybody will be like, "What?"
Well, yeah, she does have her suit now.
She's coming back for sure.
She's gonna have to find a way to get oxygen though. Where's she gonna get that from? I don't think they solved that problem yet.
Yeah, I don't know, but there's things in the trailer that lead me to believe that it's probably gonna happen. Well, she'll find the things she needs to make it back.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure if she'll actually make it back, but I feel like she kind of has to.
Feels like her fucking storyline is moving at like 3 times slower speed than the one in the silo. We like cut to the silo and so much is happening.
Agree.
Then Jules is like, I got this tube. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right, we gotta find 6 more parts.
Everything has to go super fast in the silo. So like we have to get the whole development of a rebellion, how it happens, and then push right to the brink before we can have her make a suit and walk back. So it's just like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
You think it's like gonna be like that's it by the time she gets back? Because I kind of feel like she's gonna get back and like she might have some time to make a difference, but
I think
it's gonna be tough.
It's a far more interesting story beat to have her come back and be like, they're not lying, and everybody's like, well, too far gone. We already started a war.
And they're like,
sorry.
oh,
Yes.
well, shit.
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell us that sooner?
Please leave your theories below. We'd love to make a theory video. And just so you guys know, we're going to start covering Earth Abides, the From follow-up from MGM Plus that they tried forcing down each other's throats. So up and wide, we're going to do it too. So we'll give that show a shot, see if it's any good. And yeah, we're going to post that on Sunday. So check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Later.
Bye, guys.
What just happened?
What just happened?
What just happened?
What just happened? That just happened.